So I'm in Rome, but I live in Florence, and I just passed a woman on the street who I overheard was very angry about the fact that in restaurants in Italy, they charge you for water. So here are some other little things that you should know before you come to Italy. Yes, water costs money. They give it to you in big bottles. You can choose to be frizzante and naturale, gas or no gas. You can ask for tap water, but it's not really something that people do. It's typically like €2 for a big bottle. 2, the coperto charge. There's a big misconception that the coperto charge is charges for the bread. That is not what the coperto charge is. The coperto charge is the restaurant service charge. It basically covers the cost of like napkins and silverware, service, things like that. Standard to find it on every single menu in Italy. Typically costs like €2 to €3 per person. The only place that you will not find a coperto charge on a menu in Italy is in the region of Lazio, which is the region where Rome is located. In Rome specifically, in the Lazio region specifically, the coperto charge is not allowed. So if you see it on a menu in Rome, that's when you can take it off because it's not supposed to be there. But everywhere else in Italy, coperto charge is standard. You can't ask to take it off. It's not the bread, it's the restaurant service charge. It is what it is. Again, unless you're in Rome. On that note, tipping. I find with almost every single creator that I've ever seen do a video about tipping, it's a very sensitive topic to cover. This is how I've seen it done, this is how it's done. Tipping is not by any means mandatory, however, it is always appreciated. I've seen people say that it's rude to tip in Italy. It's not rude to tip in Italy. People would very much enjoy it if you tip. However, it is not mandatory in the way that it is in the US, and especially not like a 20%. If you do decide to leave a tip, a couple euro is typically standard, it's typically fine. Even rounding up to the nearest dollar is pretty normal. Tipping 20%, not super common. I'd say most Italians will either leave a couple euro on the table, they'll round up to the nearest dollar, or they would leave like 10%. Tipping here is very much you enjoyed the service so much, they went above and beyond, you had a really wonderful time. Again, just to really drive it home, tipping is not mandatory, however, it is very much appreciated. I made a lot of videos on Italian menus and what they look like and how you will navigate an Italian menu. Basically, you'll see 4 categories on like a typical Italian menu. Antipasti, primi, secondi, and dolce. Also, you'll see contorni on there as well. Antipasti is appetizers, primi is first courses, secondi is second courses, dolce dessert, and then contorni are side dishes. Primi are typically like your pastas and your carb dishes, whereas secondi are like your meats and your proteins and things like that. And then secondi are just like the protein. So if you want any added like sides, like a vegetable or a potato, which are really common sides that you'll find, you would find those in contorni. You do not by all means need to get all 3, an antipasti, a primi, and a secondi. It's very normal to get an antipasti and a primi, or a primi and a secondi, or an antipasti and a secondi. Or if you're really hungry, you do get all 3. Again, I've done videos on that. Go look them up. That's just a couple of the most common ones, but I'm sure there's a lot more. But yeah, now you know.